Hello everyone, and thank you so much for tuning in to ChasingCinema.com's official YouTube channel. I'm your host, Jacob Tiranno, and today is Tuesday, which means it's my top 5 list of whatever I make it. So today I've decided, since Pan is opening up nationwide on Friday, I decided to kind of look back and talk about Peter Pan in general. And I decided that my list for today is going to be the top 5 reasons Hook is underrated. Now, Hook is a movie from 1991. It was by Steven Spielberg. A great movie that I find to be criminally overrated for numerous reasons. This action-adventure film tells the story of what happened when Peter Pan grew up. It was written by James V. Hart and Malaya Scotch Marmo. And you know, it's a movie that kids of my generation really love and adore, but critically, this movie is panned. No pun intended. But before I get into that, I just quickly want to remind everyone that yesterday was Monday, which means it was movie news. I talked about the box office report. I talked about the new HBO show Vinyl's trailer that just recently surfaced, as well as Ellen Page starring in Flatliners. If you want to see that video, make sure to click right here. Also, you can always get all the links for everything that we do down here in the description box. And don't forget, I'm still doing my X-Files marathon. You can follow me at Jacob Tiranno. That's in the description box for more information. But let's get into my top 5 lists of why Hook is underrated. Okay, so number 5 is Rufio. Rufio. That's right, Rufio, which was a character played Dante Bosco, is one of the coolest characters from my childhood. He's a character that we talk about all the time. Rufio is just like this saying that is constantly referenced for kids my generation, just kind of having that saying. Very fun, a very great part in the movie. Now, to give this movie as a general review, I really enjoy this movie, though I definitely see what's wrong with it. It's a movie that people do have a lot of issues with, especially critics at that time in 1991. And I think that it's a fair assessment, but I don't believe it should have been panned as much as it was. I think that this movie does have potential and does have great moments and some great characters and a lot of other things I'm going to list right now. But Rufio, I just think, is such a great character. He's such a memorable character in this story that people talk about. He was so cool because recently the actor Dante Bosco recreated these moments, his famous fight with Hook in the film, and he did it again for, I don't know if it was College Humor or something like that, and he redid it, and it was absolutely hilarious. But Rufio and his whole feud with Pan, played by Robin Williams, is just great. It's a great heart of the film, and he ends up becoming a very likable character, but being totally, excuse my language, badass. Number 4 is Robin Williams is Peter Pan. Unfortunately, we lost Robin Williams last year, and I think that this is definitely one of his better roles. Now, mind you, I think that the Robin Williams part of him got kind of in the way of this movie. The kind of really hyper Robin Williams kind of gets away because at times he is the epitome of magic and joy in this movie. There's a scene where he remembers to learn how to fly, and he's flying around Neverland, and it's a really magical moment. It's a very feel-good moment. But there's the few parts where we get a lot of the really wild, really kind of not sarcastic, but characteristic voices and tones. And I know Peter Pan is supposed to be this whole story based on the fact that Peter Pan has come back to Neverland as an adult to save his 2 children from Captain James Hook. He starts remembering what it's like to be Peter Pan, and his mind starts going, and he at one point forgets he has kids, which is great. But there's just too much of a kiddie side to Peter Pan, and though Peter Pan's all for being a kid and being young, there is kind of needs to be somewhat of a little bit more serious tone, which a lot of people say should have been more like Rufio, or a little bit more of a kind of aggressive character, which I don't think that necessarily had to be true, but I definitely feel that some of his comedy got mixed in here, like his stand-up gimmicks. But absolutely 100% great performance by Peter Pan, because there's these moments when he has that gleam in his eye, he kind of smiles, and it always looks like he kind of cries when he smiles. That just totally makes you believe that this is the boy that will never grow up. I mean, really, really special. Number 3, the score by John Williams. This score is so beautiful. In my number 4, I talked about Robin Williams being Peter Pan and when he remembers how to fly. And the song that goes to Peter Pan flying over Neverland is so warming and triumphant and feel good and so magical at the same time. It is honestly, I think, one of my favorite John Williams scores. I think it's one of his best scores. Presenting the hook, I believe it's called The War. I'm not sure. War of the Century, or I'm not sure the exact title, but the track about the war is a great 8-minute track and such effective music to this final battle, which is where a lot of fans kind of fall off, which I agree that their issues tend to come out in the third act. But really, really great music and really drives the movie. You know, one of my favorite things is introducing the hook, that part of the score when we actually reveal James T. Hook. Do, 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 do. And just the way that he enters and we see his hook in his hand and he's just kind of swaying along with this soundtrack just makes it so effective. Beautiful score. I have it on my iPod. I listen to it all the time. It's really, really an effective score. And you could actually hear a lot of Hook in more of his present work, John Williams. So very, very great score. Another great reason why this movie is underrated and didn't get enough credit. Number 2 is the concept. If you've not seen Hook, as I kind of mentioned earlier, this movie is about the grown-up Peter Pan, who grew up, forgot all about Neverland, had 2 children, and is forced to return to Neverland once his children are kidnapped by Captain Hook. So Peter Pan has to literally go back to Neverland, a place that he didn't even remember existed. He has to see Tinkerbell. He has to remember the Lost Boys. He has to remember how to fly. He has to remember how to fight and how to crow. And that concept, just hearing that clicks and works so well. And Steven Spielberg makes a majority of this work nearly perfectly. The fact that he forgets that he has kids as he remembers to be that young boy who would fly through Wendy's window. And, you know, that too, you know, the fact of his childhood is you know, they talk about his childhood and him being left and very, very heart-wrenching stuff. And then him meeting Wendy, falling in love with her, and then Wendy kind of knowing that she's going to get older and Peter's getting younger, that she kind of decides to raise him as a child. Wendy, the woman the girl that he kind of crushes on, raises him as her own and essentially puts her and his wife together. Even though this was Peter Pan was someone that she liked and she really felt for. I mean, that's really magical. And that's where kind of this great thought and this whole background to Hook is really, really effective. The concept, the idea of this movie, though I think executed mostly effectively, it definitely has its issues. Again, why I understand this movie isn't critically acclaimed, but I think it's good enough to not be, you know, like a 37 or 47, whatever it is on Rotten Tomatoes. I think that this concept is so great and effective. And my number 1 is Dustin Hoffman as Captain James Hook. I know Dustin Hoffman is one of the best actors of our time. Tootsie, The Graduate, Marathon Man. The list goes on. But Captain Hook is a character that I loved growing up. I mean, and don't get me wrong, guys. I'm not saying that I like Hook more than I like the great Disney animated film. This movie is great and magical and one of my favorite childhood films ever made. But Dustin Hoffman brought Captain Hook to life. I don't see, when I watch the movie, I don't see, I could kind of see Dustin Hoffman, but I mean, he really disappears and creates and brings to life Captain Hook like I think nobody else did before. I mean, it's so amazing. I watched this movie specifically for Hook, and which is, you know, why the movie's titled Hook, but he is so good in this movie. His accent, the way he walks, the way he treats Smee, everything, you know, his look, he was literally just came out of a cartoon or came out of a book. I've never seen Hook portrayed so perfect. I've never seen it like, you know, I'm sure there are other examples, but this is easily one of the best times a character has literally just jumped out of the page or jumped out of a cartoon to be so realistic. I mean, I cannot say enough how much I enjoyed watching Dustin Hoffman in this role. It is unreal. Super, super good and easily makes this whole entire movie. This movie It's fun, it's creative, it has a great score, it's led by two great actors that do a very, very good job, and a movie that should not have been hated as much as it was. Most of the kids my age have seen this movie and love it. If you've not seen this movie, I cannot recommend it enough. If you are with me on this and you like Hook and you enjoy Hook, let me know how you feel down here in the comment sections below. And instead of this being a one-way conversation, we can make it a dialogue. If you are a Hook naysayer, I would love to talk to you about it. Because, like I said, I definitely think the movie has faults, but I think it got a lot more hate than it deserved. Let me know down here in the comment section what you have to say about that. But easily, those 5 reasons are perfect reasons why Hook was criminally overrated. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap it up today. Tomorrow is Wednesday, which means it's another day of movie news where I'm going to be recapping what's going on in the world of motion picture. Make sure to tune into that. Actually, the easiest way to never miss a video that we do is hit that subscribe button right here. Make sure to just give that a click right there. Also, don't forget to check out yesterday's movie news video down here in the description box, as well as my Twitter account, where you could follow me review every episode of The X-Files until the revival. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to watch this video. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and again, to hit that subscribe button. My name is Jacob Tiranno, everyone. Thank you so much for watching, and please continue chasing cinema. Is one of the coolest characters from my childhood. Now.